It is the 4th of July, America's birthday. So let's do a history hot tip about the history of the United States of America. The United States of America is both a very new country and a very old country, depending on how you look at it. Before there was the United States of America, there was the United Provinces of America, which encompassed all of the land from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean, including what today is Alaska, Hawaii, California, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, New Mexico, Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, Iowa, Kansas, Nebraska, South Dakota, North Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, Illinois, Nevada, Utah, Arizona, and New Mexico. And that's just the ones west of the Mississippi. On the east side, there was the original 13 colonies. Now, this land, before there were any Europeans here, was inhabited by hundreds of different tribes of people, and they had been living here for thousands of years. The oldest evidence of human habitation in the Americas goes back at least 14,000 years. So when we think of the United States of America turning 246 years old, we are really only talking about the time period starting around 1776, when the 13 colonies decided to declare independence from the British Empire and form their own nation. But even then, it's complicated. There is no one event that we can point to and say that when the United States began, it was more like a process that happened over several years. In 1775, the Continental Congress met and created the United States of America in order to manage the war effort against the British. In 1776, the Declaration of Independence was adopted by the Continental Congress, but it wasn't signed until August. The War for Independence lasted until 1783 with the Treaty of Paris. During this time, the Articles of Confederation and Perpetual Union was adopted in 1777, creating a loose union between the states. But it had many weaknesses. There was no executive branch to enforce laws and no national currency. Then, in 1789, the Constitution was drafted in Philadelphia by what is now known as the Constitutional Convention. This was signed in September of 1787. Then, in 1791, the Bill of Rights was added to the Constitution. The Bill of Rights was added because many Americans were worried that the new federal government would become a tyrannical government overlord and take away the rights of the people. They wanted explicit guarantees that the government would not trample on their rights. And this is why the first 10 amendments to the Constitution are known as the Bill of Rights. And that's why we celebrate the United States becoming a nation on July. Because on this day, in 1776, the Second Continental Congress adopted the Declaration of Independence, asserting that these 13 colonies were free and independent states, and that they were, quote, absolved from all allegiance to the Crown of Great Britain. These 13 colonies became the first states of the United States of America. Now, it took a while for the dust to settle after that. There were many more conflicts and compromises that had to be made before the United States looked anything like the United States that we know today. And the United States did unofficially recognize the end of the War for Independence until 1783. But you could argue that the United States started in 1776, or in 1787, or in 1791, depending on which document you think is the most important. Or you could argue that the United States has been around since 14,000 years ago when humans first inhabited this land. Whichever way you want to look at it, happy birthday, United States of America. If you want more American history, check out our series on the American Revolution. And if you want more fun history, stay tuned.